Colin, hope you're paying attention. Ladies and gentlemen, I actually reply on behalf of the bridesmaid and the page boy. Usually a speech is, when you make a speech, you might get a gift or something special at the end. In this case, I've got a small gift that I want to give at the beginning. And when I give it in a moment, you'll understand why. My speech was going to be about Colin. It was going to be soft, it was going to be gentle, it was going to be witty, it was going to be meaningful. That was until the stag night.
Oh yeah.
I, at the stag night, was wearing my favourite tie that I had made somewhere overseas, a beautiful silk that I had flown in, that for you guys would know, this tie went with every single suit of mine and every shirt, so it was a no decision in the morning, and I really liked this tie. I was very fond of it.
Boring.
And Colin, in his infinite wisdom, if I can get this thing out, I can't.
Oh my good man.
It's stuck in the carrier bag. He decided to cut it in half.
He hasn't changed it.
He didn't stop then. He then decided to try and recover the situation by stapling it together. So Colin, would you just come out here and take this tie? Because it's no use to me. But it might be useful to you to keep somewhere in your new home in America.
You should see the state of my braces.
He deserved it.
That's why you cut them in half.
So I ripped the speech up and I started again. Now, my best man's duties have actually taken me on quite an amazing journey for Colin. He asked me last summer, and it seemed unusual to me that he invited someone to be his best man you know in 3 years. And I thought, surely he's got friends going back years that have got, you know, the right kind of people. But I took the job on. What I didn't expect was that walls went up everywhere. And I phoned people up. Yes, I'll come back with some good stories. Nothing. I emailed them. Nothing. I even went to the effort of going over to Moscow to meet John, and he flies back to London while I'm over there. So I knew something was up. The other thing that really confused me was about 3 days after I was asked by Colin to be best man, he left for America, which seemed bizarre because he seemed to spend more time there than he did in England. He'd occasionally come back. Alison would be summoned and sent across with Sophie for a week and then be sent back without him. And I really just couldn't understand this at all. So I began to feel my best man role was actually to support Alison a bit, so she came and joined me in my business. And we have lunch every day, and she's never stopped talking about Colin. And we, anyway, I began to understand why he was so much in love with this girl. But I have to tell you, Colin, that what happened was these friends of yours that wouldn't tell stories actually began to break down. And what amazed me was I thought they were friends, but it's amazing how cash, just begins to break the stories down. So I need to know from you all, would you want to hear about Colin's school day years? Do you want to hear about his university years? or maybe his business years, or possibly his Navy years. Goodness for that.
50 quid is too much.
Well, I suppose, Colin, you know, do I talk about things like the GX Club? I'm going no further.
Under no circumstances.
Do I talk about Miss Jones of the Foreign Office? Apparently she got all leave stopped for you, I understand. Or do I talk about the Newcastle story?
No, don't do that.
Or maybe I talk about when you were best man and you wound up at the wrong reception following some woman.
Don't do that one.
I don't believe that.
But, you know, what I really found was, and this is serious, I found a man that's a gentleman that's really looking for the right person to come into his life. And this began to come through. You know, one looked for the funny side, but this is what was happening. Colin has spent a long time trying to find the right girl. He's waited and waited and waited. And that's very, very clear. Well, that's what you told me. And he's waiting for that special person, and and to find out